This is Ticats Today.
This is Ticats Today for a Thursday, September the 16th, 2021. Hamilton Tigercats just wrapping up their walkthrough ahead of tomorrow night's game against the Calgary Stampeders right here at Tim Hortons Field. A 7 p.m. kickoff. Of course, coverage will start at 6 p.m. with Andy Fantuzzi on Tiger Cats pregame presented by Active Green and Ross on the Ticats audio network. RJ Broadhead, Luke Tasker will have the call beginning at 7. Thanks for joining us today. We got a great show for you. Coming up, we're going to hear from Coach Orlondo Steinauer. We're going to hear from David Watford, and we'll check in with a birthday boy, David Ungerer III, turned 26 today, and we had a chance to catch up with him after practice. We're going to be joined by the CFL.ca's Chris O'Leary, get his thoughts on this upcoming game and just kind of where the Ticats and Stamps are at the kind of third way point of the season. We'll run through the depth chart in just a second, but first, in some non-Ticats related news, an outdoor game will be taking place right here at Tim Hortons Field. The NHL announced today that the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Buffalo Sabres will play the 2022 Tim Hortons Heritage Classic at Tim Hortons Field on March the 13th, 2022. So very exciting news for the city of Hamilton. Very excited for everybody who works here, everybody who worked hard to build this stadium, to bring an NHL game here, and a very exciting day for Hamilton sports fans, for Leafs fans, for Sabres fans, but wanted to acknowledge that right off the top. All right, let's get right into the depth chart, though, looking at this Hamilton Tiger Cats team. And let's start on offense, because we mentioned we're going to be hearing from David Watford. That's because David Watford has been named the starter in this game. Some of the changes on offense right there. We know Dane Evans is out 4 to 6 weeks, so it will be David Watford starting and Jeremiah Masoli backing him up. We'll hear from Coach Ho on the kind of rationale behind that decision in just a little bit. Other changes on offense, we have Sean Thomas-Erlington moving from kind of the starter to the third string running back. Jackson Bennett listed as the starter. That's one change we have there. That means that, we have a couple of guys moving around in the running back position with Jackson Bennett, Malik Irons, and then Sean Thomas-Erlington. Other than that, everything kind of lines up the same. You got Dunbar Jr. and Ungerer III, receivers, they're out wide. You got Jalen Acklin, Tim White, Pappy White listed as a slot back, Nikola Kalinic, Felix Grant-Gauthier listed at fullbacks, and then from left to right, offensive line, no changes. It's Okafor, Revenberg, Sirocco, Yarbrough, and Murray. So obviously the big change there, Joel Watford starting, Jeremiah Masoli backing him up. And on defense, not a whole lot of changes to let you know about, but Ciante Evans draws back into the lineup. Frankie Williams moves back to the corner. Ciante lines up in his regular spot. Jamal Roll, Carriel Brooks, they've been unstoppable, kind of on the weak side. They're back. Tunde Adeleke there. No changes at linebacker for the 6th week in a row. Simone Lawrence, Jovan Santos Knox, and Cam Kelly will handle the middle. And then up front, you got Jaguar Davis, Teddy Laurent, Dylan Wynn, and Julian Hauser. And I guess one change at kicker. Bertolette will be back as the kicker. Domagala listed as the punter. And then Gordon White, long snapper. Frankie Williams handling the return duties. So that's how the Ticats will line up against the Calgary Stampeders tomorrow night. For more on this, let's hear from the head coach, Orlondo Steinauer, as he spoke after practice today.
Just, there's too much to list here. But after all the information that we got and, talking with the therapy staff, seeing how Jeremiah was feeling, this is the way that we've decided to start. So David will go out there for us. Jeremiah is definitely available to play, and we'll go from there. Come on, man. We don't put anybody out there that we don't think we can win with.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. No, absolutely not. Sure didn't. We knew that there'd be a lot of talk and discussion about who was going to start and lead us. Felt very comfortable. That's why we signed both of those guys, and they were willing to do it. you do not envision getting to the third guy, but here we are. So the ball's going to be kicked off at 7:30, and we'll be ready to play.
Just one follow-up. We haven't seen a lot of David in game action, save for last Friday night. How would you describe what kind of quarterback David Watford is?
There's no secret. He's athletic. He's strong. I think everything that you see, he's got a tremendously strong arm. He's tough. I think the things that people don't really realize is just, how hard he prepares, even when he had a role of short yardage, goal line package for us in 19. But he's paid to play quarterback, and he's going to get that opportunity. Well, I mean, if this was a make it or break it game, there would have been no doubt that Jeremiah would be going. That's not the case. And what's best for Jeremiah and for our football team right now is to run David out there. Like I said, Jeremiah was available, but that's with all the information we had, we felt like the best situation for our football team was to run David out there, at least in the beginning, and see what happens. So to be honest with you, as it was really close early in the week because we just didn't know how it was going to turn out. But as the week went on, we started leaning more and more towards David.
That is the head coach of the Hamilton Ticats, Orlondo Steinauer, as he spoke after walkthrough today. And I'm not sure if he appreciated my question on the confidence level and David Watford giving me the old "come on, man." It's well deserved, well earned. You gotta take those answers when you ask those kind of questions. So, but I did ask David Watford what his confidence level was heading into this one against the Stamps. Here's what he had to say after practice today.
Very, very confident, and I think the confidence just comes from the guys, honestly. Of course, we're all professional athletes. We believe in our abilities. You know what I'm saying? We've all been blessed to make it to this level, and we all have different talents and abilities. But I feel like my confidence really comes from the guys and just the people that we have, around us. Everybody is just, super excited for me, and that makes me feel even more confident just because they're excited to, see what I do and, just what I'm able to bring. And, it's just from everybody, from defensive guys to, our O-linemen, receivers, running backs. Of course, Coach O, Tommy, the other quarterbacks are excited for me. So that makes me feel even more confident. That makes me feel better and just excited heading into the game. It was something that I was able to it's been a process. I'll put it that way. It's been a process. It wasn't always like that. Honestly, just being honest with myself and 100% transparent. It wasn't always like that. It was, times where, I kind of struggled and, wasn't always, as prepared as I should have been. I had to learn from that and, obviously grow as I gotten older and more mature. I was able to grow and learn from situations that I was in before and, just learn from the mistakes that I had made in the past and not carry that into the future. So, as long as I have this opportunity to play this game, I'm going to be prepared as I possibly can, make sure I leave nothing to chance and, just always be ready for that moment because you never know when it'll come.
That is David Watford. He will make his first career CFL start, his first career pro start, and everybody is excited for him within the organization. You can see it out there. They're having fun, and even if you can't see it, I know because you're not here, but I can let you know that everybody seems to be has full confidence in him as a quarterback. None more maybe than David Ungerer III. It was David Ungerer III's birthday today. He turned 26. We wished him a happy birthday and his post-practice availability, but we also asked kind of having what it means to have that experience. And these two guys played a lot with each other last year on scout team, and they found some instant chemistry when Watford came into the game. So I had to ask Ungerer kind of what he thought about Watford heading into this one.
I mean, first thing is he just pops out at you athletically. He's a phenomenal athlete, huge arm. Second thing is once you get to know him, he's a phenomenal person, great leadership qualities. So happy that he gets this opportunity. So happy to play with him. We were able to connect some in scout team last year, and then we got to play with each other a good amount in that last Toronto game of the season, connected on a pass. And then, obviously the other night we were able to connect a couple of times. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think he's done anything but proven that he can play in this league and help us win a game. Even in that last game in 2019, he led a fourth quarter drive for a game-winning field goal. So, I mean, he's done nothing but show that he's capable of doing the job and doing it, to the point where we can win and do it to the best of his ability. Yeah, I think the thing that helps me gain confidence is just every single day coming in and getting better. Every single day, just trying to be as sharp as I can, whether it's catching the ball or blocking or, even just communicating with the offense, making sure that we know the down and distance and whether we're on the hash or not. Just those little things. Just knowing that I'm in tune and the team's in tune with me, that makes me feel confident. Obviously, I'm happy to have gotten more targets in the last couple of weeks and been able to make the most of them. But all I can really do is just focus on playing whatever snap, whatever call is made to the best of my ability. And, if the ball comes, the ball comes. If not, it doesn't. But, as long as we, end up with the win on Friday, that's all that matters. Yeah, Tommy Condell, he said that earlier this week that, like, you're a veteran of this receiving core. And, like, I had to think about it for a second and kind of laugh about it because it's like I feel like I'm really just getting to know the game now. 2019 was a little rough for me. And then, this year it's really been my first, action, snap. So, yeah, I mean, to hear that was kind of funny, but once I thought about it, I'm fully embracing it. And obviously, like you said, we have the veterans like BA and Speedy and Depot in the meeting room, and they help a lot. They've been tremendous leaders during this time. But when we're on the field, it's just us. So I definitely am trying to step up with that role and make sure that we're on the same page each snap. And like I said, just communicating with offense. Part of my role is to let us know what the down and distance is and whether we're on the hash or not. And so just trying to, be in tune and whatever guys need help with, I'm ready to help them.
That is David Ungerer III as he spoke after walkthrough today. All right. Very pleased now to be joined by the CFL.ca's Chris O'Leary. And Chris, it's been a topic of conversation. I've been bringing it up all throughout the week. I've been trying to define who the 2021 Hamilton Tiger Cats are at this point. We know they're not the 2019 Ticats. So my question is simple. Who are the 2021 Hamilton Tiger Cats?
That's a good question. And I think it's one that we're all thinking about if we're looking at the league and teams as they're trying to kind of build their identities this season. I think it's safe to say they're not the 2019 Tiger Cats, and I'm sure Orlondo Steinauer would have told you that on day one of training camp. But I think we've seen glimpses of that, and I think you don't want to try to duplicate exactly what you had in the past, but I think you want to go back to the good things and build on them. And I think we've seen glimpses of that over the last 2-3 games prior to Dane Evans' injury. And I think injuries have been a big part of maybe that lack of an identity to this point. To me, their best game was, I believe, Labor Day with just seeing that D-line with Ted Laurent and Dylan Wynn together. Dylan Wynn has missed a lot of time, and I think Ted Laurent's been kind of up and down in terms of his health. But just I think that game, just seeing the defensive intensity, seeing Dane Evans out there, I think that was his second game as a starter after Masoli had been hurt, and that looked good. Like that to me was the Ticats team that we saw in 2019, and probably the one that they want to be this season. And I think we're just seeing now injuries have just hit hard, and I think you see it now at the most important spot on the field at quarterback, and with Dane Evans going down. Some questions there, and in terms of what we're going to get and what we might see with David Watford if he's playing. I think it's still very much a work in progress. And I think the one thing that works in the Ticats' favor in this situation is just that I think there's about 6 other teams that are trying to find their identities, and they're all kind of jumbled together with similar records right now. So there's still a lot of time to figure out who you are, what you've got, what works, and try to build some separation there in the standings.
I think I ran through some of the stats last week. Jalen Ackland's the most experienced Ticats receiver out there with 23 games. And now, not including the offensive line, he is one of the most experienced offensive players out there for the Ticats. And I'm not picking on Jalen Ackland. He's done a great job. But, that just shows you that the next man up mentality for the Ticats, it's not just something they say. It's something that they expect players to preach. And here you go. You got third string quarterback David Watford, who was actually just signed in August. Of course, spent some time with the team in 2019. Now he's getting the start here against the Stamps. It's not like he's coming off the street, though. This is a guy who knows Tommy Condell. He knows the offense. And luckily enough, he knows some of these receivers he was playing with on the scout team in 2019.
Yeah, I think that makes a huge difference, obviously, right? Just some familiarity for the player. I think just knowing your personnel and kind of what's around you and maybe he's taking limited reps in practice to this point up until this past week. So maybe he doesn't have that chemistry with the first team guys, but those things can come along, and he's at least been around them. So I think that works in his favor. And I think prior to when we started recording, and I think it's come up this week in media with David as well, just having that familiarity with Tommy Condell, knowing his offense. And then I think on the other side too, Tommy knowing Watford's strengths, right? And putting together a game plan that I don't think it has to be that simplified because he's been in the system and knows it well enough, but just one that's tailored to what Watford can do. And, I think that works in their favor. I still think it's kind of an uphill situation. It's, no team wants to be looking to the third stringer with your 1A and your 1B both banged up. But this is a guy that he should at least be comfortable, right? And we don't know a lot about him. We haven't seen a ton of on-field work from him in like live bullets in games, and we'll find out this week. But I'm trying to make it sound optimistic. It could be much worse. I think they've got it's not a horrible situation here. You've got a guy that's got familiarity, and I think that'll help him. Yeah, well said. Let's take a look at this Stampeders team coming off a win, a much needed win in that Labor Day rematch in Edmonton. I had Jock Wilson earlier this week, and I kind of asked him whether that, a lot of people were kind of thinking, should Bo Levi have gone for that big pass up 9 with 20 seconds left? But I kind of thought like Bo Levi needed that. Calgary needed that because it was a pretty average game for Bo Levi, below average game for Bo Levi without that. And he knows he's got Jake Mayer kind of proven that he can run with this offense. Yeah, it was. I think you're absolutely right, and I think I think Bo needed that. I think the offense needed it, and and I think you always look at those things when a team is struggling. And I guess technically Calgary is struggling if you look at the record and just everything they've been through, which feels so weird to say, just given how dominant Calgary's been for like the last decade. But those are the things you say about struggling teams that like you look for those little positives, those glimmers toward the end. They got the win, so that was the ultimate positive for them. But no, I think they needed that. I also think they were thinking about that season series and the points for and against, and they know they'll see Edmonton, or Edmonton could factor into their playoff fate as the season winds down. So they need points wherever they can get them. But no, I think in terms of just putting the bad of that game behind them, and there was a lot to put behind them, I think they needed that play. And that's something that they can say, like, we left on this high note. Kamar made a crazy catch. Like I've watched that play like 20 times. I don't know how the ball got from that clump of receivers into Kamar's hands and into the end zone. And I would need like a rotating, like NFL style camera to really figure that one out. But just an incredible play. And I think that's a huge positive that they can take and build on. And, and I think the other positive that they can take from that game is just their defensive effort. And to me, that was probably their best defensive game of the season. And that defense has been a little bit underwhelming, right? It's I think everybody was maybe asked to do a little bit more when Bo was hurt. But for them to come out, get 7 sacks, Sean Lemon had that forced fumble at the end, which he always seems to do. I think Calgary, to me, there's a lot of energy there. I think they're coming into this game this week with some good momentum. Yeah, you mentioned Kamar Jordan, Stephon Banks, CFL top performers for week 6. And you mentioned it. Well, you kind of said the D-line and the defense of Calgary, and we know the offensive line of the Ticats has had its struggles at some points this season, so should make an interesting matchup. Chris, it's always great to connect with you. I do have to say, a couple of fans have tweeted me the CFL.ca picks for this week, and they say, okay, good.
nobody picked us. That probably means we're going to win. So thank you for giving some Ticats fans some encouragement on that front.
I try to do my part in the most subtle ways sometimes. So I think that was my contribution. I think Scott Mitchell even noticed that this week. I think I just saw him tweet that out too. So, we like to add the fuel to the fire if it's needed. We like to do our part in any way.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Take care.
My thanks to Chris O'Leary for joining me on today's show, and my thanks to you, the listener, for tuning in. Always do appreciate it. We got a great lineup for you on the Ticats audio network today, leading up to tomorrow's game. You can catch Task and Two's brand new episode of that launched. Go check that out, and an all-new episode of the Ticats this week with RJ Broadhead and Luke Tasker setting up tomorrow's game. Make sure to join us on tomorrow's broadcast. It is a 6 p.m. pregame. Tiger pregame presented by Active Green and Ross. It is a 7 o'clock kickoff. If you're coming down, make sure to be listening to us, Ticats.ca, the Ticats All Access app, or on radio 900 CHML Global Radio. We will talk to you tomorrow. Looking forward to a beautiful night under the lights here at Tim Hortons Field. Thanks so much for checking us out. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode. For the Ticats Audio Network, I'm Louie B, hoping you have a great day.